Hello everyone, this is Taylor with Rural Gorge Anglers in Canyon City, Colorado, the oldest fly shop and fly fishing guide service on the Arkansas River Basin and only Orvis endorsed outfitter on the Arkansas. Thanks so much for viewing today. We are moving into the great month of August, the dog days of summer on the Arkansas River and surrounding drainages. And we have had just a fantastic summer season on our drainages thus far. Definitely we've seen drought conditions throughout the state of Colorado and even surrounding states, and flows have been lower than average on the Arkansas River, but we've been in relatively good shape as far as floatability is concerned, water temperatures, so on and so forth, because of our flow management program on the Arkansas. Now, our flow management program was ended up being a lot less water than we anticipated in the spring, so those actual releases throughout the months of June, July, and now into August have been less than anticipated. However, they've kept the river at a level that's been great for recreation, and has kept the trout population in good shape. And you know, while we have seen some days in July during those 90 and 100 degree days in say early mid-July, where the water temperature reached 65, 66 degrees, we're starting to see those days wane considerably, with overnight lows becoming cooler and daytime highs reaching 90, maximum. So it looks like what the monsoon has brought is a bit cooler weather. Along with that monsoon, though, last week we had a lot of heavy rain. In the previous 6 months, we hadn't had as much precipitation as we received last week, nearly 6.5 inches here at the fly shop itself. So, which was much needed, definitely. We had to have that moisture. It kind of all came at once, and now it looks like we're drying out a bit. But that has left the river in really, really good shape from middle Bighorn Canyon upstream. Still some clarity issues in the lower canyon currently due to some flash flooding last week. However, that will resolve in its own time. We should have clarity back in the lower Bighorn Canyon stretch relatively quickly. In addition, we've had fantastic conditions on the Arkansas tailwater, which is 25 minutes from the fly shop here, as well as the South Platte River in South Park on the many stretches that we guide up there. So fishing as a whole has been very, very, very good this season, just because of more consistent conditions, and low conditions are great for waders, obviously, and floating has been a bit more technical, but still some floating to be done out there if that's the route you want to go. Now, forecasting through the month of August, around the 8th of August, we're going to see another decrease in release. We should see flows stabilize then at about 325 or 350 CFS. And then on August 15th, we'll see them lower into the upper 200s, very close to native flow on the Arkansas. And it will be low at that point, but usually after August 15th, we do get much lower on the Arkansas. That's very typical. Especially on lower snowpack years, we usually are in the 300, high 200s, 300 CFS range, sometimes into the 400 or 500 CFS range if we've had a lot of rain. But we'll kind of see what the weather brings. But if things were to hold true as we see them today we've got 400 CFS at Wellsville. Like I said, on August 15th, we'll see a step down of about 75 CFS or so Should see that at about 300 CFS to 325, and then on the 15th, we'll see another step down. So that's what we've got coming here in the month of August as far as flows and conditions are concerned. We should, barring any giant rains, and I'm talking 2 to 3 inches at a time, barring any extreme weather like that we received last week, we should have excellent conditions on the entire basin. Now, from the flash floods that we had last week, we do have some debris in the river on the lower river, but it seems from what we've done thus far, our guides doing surveys out there, that the riverbed is relatively clean and should be in great shape. Fish are in good health there. So we should see that. Just kind of keep an eye on our text reports as far as what the overall clarity is through Bighorn Sheep Canyon and on the upper basin, as well as downstream on the Arkansas tailwater. So that kind of gives you a good overview of probably what we will expect for conditions through the month of August. Now, usually in August we begin to cool down. We also see the introduction of new bugs typically. However, this year with lower flow conditions and a bit warmer air temps, we've already seen a big upturn in red quill activity, which usually we see start in about the 1st of August. We're going to see a continuation of red quill activity. We'll see a continuation of caddis. There are still PMDs out there, pale morning duns. There are green drakes, slate drakes, and gray drakes, especially on the upper basin. And there are some drakes downstream here as well. So we've got some an excellent representation within the mayfly category. And then we've also got a lot of stonefly activity subsurface. Most of our hatching stoneflies have kind of hatched out. However, we've seen a lot of yellow sallies still out there, and a lot of yellow sallies in the substrate, along with those stoneflies, cranefly larvae, etc. So a lot of big bugs out there also. Still a lot of terrestrials, hoppers, ants, beetles, stuff like that. You can do well with that out there. What I would say in August is typically with lower flows and clear conditions, we typically see fish become a bit more technical. However, thus far in late July and early August, we've been fishing a lot of larger flies and streamers and dry dropper with great success. And we may see that continue, see the fish become very, very opportunistic. And some years it's like that. So we'll kind of have to see what happens as conditions change, as flows get lower, as to what the fish will end up doing there. I'd like to go through some patterns with you. Now again, there are many others. We've got 900 designs here in store, but I'd like to just spotlight a few for you to give you an idea of kind of what we're talking about. And again, we guide all 3 phases, substrate fishing with double, triple nymph rigs, dry dropper fishing, kind of fishing that mid-water column up to, subsurface and surface, and then we of course hatch match, PMDs, red quills, spinners, different things like that. So we fish all 3 phases, and to be successful, you need to do that. So let's kind of look at a few patterns to give you an idea of what we're talking about. But again, that's ever changing. And this report is to give you a good general sense of what's going on. Really want to pay keen attention to our text reports as things change week to week, day to day. We're going to make adjustments there for you. Although things really have been relatively consistent this summer because flows haven't been crazy up and down. They've been relatively unchanged for a month and a half or so. So you'll want to pay attention to those text reports as conditions change. but this will give you a great idea of kind of what we're... Okay, folks, and we're back here at the fly cases, and like I said, I'd like to show you a few patterns that we like to take advantage of, although we've got over 900 different custom patterns here in the fly shop that you can come take a peek at and talk to a specialist about. However, this will give you a good idea. Like I said, dry dropper fishing is one of our favorites in the month of August. Up top, we've got a yellow hippie stomper, one of our favorite colors, and then a royal hippie stomper. Those are two of our favorites, is lead flies and a dry dropper rig. The 409, we fish this in multiple colors. This is a yellow 409. We fish them in red a lot as well, and tan. One of our guides, Juan Ramirez, his little hopper Juan and his larger hopper Juan are two of our favorites. That's the little hopper Juan. Great visibility, supports weight well. And then two of our favorites in the month of August and September as well, the Amy's Ant. You've got your natural kind of tan Amy's Ant here, and then one that we really go to in the fall, our red Amy's Ant. Okay, so those are all great hopper dropper lead flies. As far as hatch matchers are concerned, we've got plenty of caddis. This is what's called a butch caddis. Great fly, a little bit larger, and some of our caddis are larger. Literally, we've got over 20 different types of caddis hatching right now. So you've got your larger representation with the butch caddis, and then we've got just a standard Larry Kingery's Better Foam Body olive caddis in a size 16 or 18 for your smaller caddis. Black caddis as well out there. PMDs are beginning to wane, but they're still out there. This is a CDC cripple. We've been fishing a lot of cripples out there. That's, again, your pale morning dun. What's really turned on in the last couple weeks, and fish are really crazy for them, are the red quills. And we fish a lot of spinners, so this is a crystal wing spinner, okay? And this is a glass wing spinner, okay? Both great during a spinner fall, okay? And then we've got an excellent profile red quill, which can fish great as just a standard adult or a spinner as well as kind of a high vis version, okay? Now, we've also got tricos. Lots of tricos out there. This is your chubby trico here, okay, at the very bottom. And we fish glasswing tricos and things like that as well, okay. Now on your nymph side of things, and again, these droppers, these smaller nymphs can be fished under a big stonefly or a cranefly larva or a San Juan worm, something like that. Or they can be fished under a dry for a dry dropper system. Just depends on what water you're fishing, time of day, so on and so forth. First one we've got here is Larry Kingery's tungsten biot PMD. Again, a lot of PMDs still in the water column, although they are starting to taper off. Same pattern, Larry's tungsten biot red quill, which will be just a breadwinner for us here moving forward. Then we've got a tungsten hot wire Prince in the red color there. We've got a 2-bit hooker red, okay. Orange belly Psycho Prince with the rubber legs, one of our favorites, kind of a newer pattern. Then we've got caddis, always caddis out there. We've got our tube caddis, which has been a great free swimmer here, very lifelike. We've got our uncased caddis, John Barr's pattern. And then just kind of a general attractor is the Frenchie. We fish it a lot during the August time period. On your larger side of things, you've got your stoneflies, your tease stone for a lighter representation, larger rubber legs. We have some custom Jimmy legs or Pat's rubber legs with the tungsten bead. We like these in size 8 through 12. One that I've really done well with here recently is the Juju Sally. This is Charlie Craven's pattern. This is an unweighted fly, but for a double nymph rig, throw a split shot in front of it. It's a very slight profile fly. Fishes really well. The baby stone, tungsten bead, a little bit smaller, just golden stone nymph. And then crane fly larva. And this is a CZ check style fly. Wide gap hook, little trigger, color, etc. Squirmy worm, brown and red. We really like worms during this time period, and fish have been on them. Streamers, don't forget your streamers, okay? We've got a masked Avenger. This is a Strollus pattern. Great fly, kind of a purple and black. Kelly Gallup's Flatliner, white and olive. So those could be lead flies, and again, we always like tandem, so running a Thin Mint or a BMW, Chen's BMW. Those are both two good slider profile flies to run, 6 to 8 inches under your lead fly. And again, remember, heavy tippet, short leaders, little sinking poly leader or short sink tip is preferred on those, okay? So there's a good look at, just to give you a general idea of the patterns we're using right now on the Arkansas. I hope those patterns were helpful for you, just to give you a general idea of the route our guides are taking right now. Again, maximizing all 3 phases: deep on the substrate, dry dropper, and hatch matchers on the surface. Depending on the time of day and what the bug activity is, of course, drives how we make a decision on which route to go. Typically through July and June and early August, we fish dries and dry dropper earlier and later in the day because of low light conditions. Fish are looking up more. It's just a more productive time period for that. And then we nymph throughout the day. There are days where, it's super hot, hotter water temps, etc., where fish technically just kind of shut down through the middle of the day, from that 11:30 noon to 3 or 4 p.m. window. I think we're beyond that now with cooler overnight lows upstream especially, and we should see better fishing throughout the day. But still, I do recommend you really maximize some time in the early and late segments, because typically still fish are just less weary. They're looking up, they're feeding heavier during those low light time periods. It's just summer fishing in a nutshell. So through the month of August, still, I think it will behoove you to really focus on those time periods. Now, with monsoon conditions around, when overcast conditions roll in, even if it's the middle of the day, you may see some mayflies hatching and some different things. And overcast is, imperative for dry fly fishing during the middle of the day. So you could see some fish up during, the heat of the day from 12 to 4 p.m. in those cases. On bright sunny days, you're going to need to nymph. You're going to need to get down in the substrate. You're going to need to get into heavier oxygenated water and really take advantage of that type of structure during those brighter days. So hopefully that's all helpful information for you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call, toll free, 888-994-6743, or email us at info@royalgorgeanglers.com. We're looking forward to a great August on all of our watersheds, on the Freestone, on the tailwater, on our South Platte stretches. If you'd like guided services, we still have a few days available in August. We'd love to see you. So just call us toll free, 888-994-6743, extension 2 for the guide office. Thanks so much. Have a great day on the water.